I'm Randy Steinlug. I'm Kira's dad. I have a few stories to tell you about Dorothy Rehagen, which we call Dart. One of the stories was back when I was dating Mandy, which is Kira's mom, is Dorothy and Lawrence, which we call Dick, invited us down to eat squirrel, which I've never had squirrel before, but I've had other type of wild animals like rabbit, which I thought would be okay. And so we went down for supper, and they had all the fixing, and in the middle of the table was a crock pot, closed up. And as we started getting everything out, we said our prayer, and we opened the crock pot, and there was floating a squirrel head. So, really wasn't too appetizing, but they kind of got some of the meat out, and we started eating. And then as we was eating, I didn't realize that Dick liked eating the squirrel brains. So as I was eating, Dick decided he's gonna suck squirrel brains out. So as you can probably start thinking is I've lost my appetite by now, and I am looking ready to have dessert. So that is one of the stories about the days we had squirrel, which I don't think I've ever had it since. The next story I can tell you about is after Lawrence, Dick, had passed away due to health issues. We had taken Dart to Branson, Missouri. She had never been anywhere, stayed in a hotel, anything like this ever before. So we were looking forward as a family to get together, take her down. And we were all looking forward to seeing how she would do in Branson. So as we got to Branson, we checked into the hotel. And as we checked in the hotel, Mandy's mom went, and Dart stayed in the same room. As they got in the room, they sat on the bed, and Dart sat on the edge of the bed, and she goes, "Randy, can you check my bed for bed bugs?" I go, "What?" She goes, "I hear they're in hotels." I said, "Okay, Dart, I'll check the bed." So I checked the bed. There was no bed bugs. So then after that, we took her all throughout Branson, and it was like a kid in a candy store. It was just fun to see somebody's eyes light up, because this is something that she's never experienced before. So we went all through Branson, went to a lot of different shows like the Presleys, Sights and Sounds, and it was just something you won't ever forget about, one of the memories you share with Dart. So anyhow, that's two good stories I hope you enjoyed.
Hi, I'm Kira's mom, Mandy. When Kira asked me to say a few things about Dart, I had to make a list because I have so many things to talk about, so I tried to narrow it down. First of all, I'm very blessed to have two moms, my biological mom and Dorothy Rehagen, who we call Dart. When we were little, she helped my mom kind of raised us. She didn't have kids on her own, wasn't able to, so we just kind of adopted her into our family, which we're so blessed to have her. My mom and dad were EMTs, and while they were going through class, my Aunt Dart would kind of take my brother and I in and do our homework for us and things like that. But one of the things I didn't like about that is when she cooked for us, she made us eat everything on our plate. I'm a very picky eater, and I didn't want to do that. And so she's like, "You're going to have to sit here until you at least try everything on your plate." Well, let's just say that the dishes were already finished, put away. All the pots and pans were already cleaned, dried, put away, and I was still sitting at the table with this plate because I refused to eat anything with tomatoes or onions or anything like that in it. So that was the worst experience about Dart. But another thing that I really wanted to sing in the choir with her. She has a beautiful voice. I wish she could share it more, but I wanted to be like her in that respect as well, so she allowed me to be on the choir with her. She was always a very religious person, and I love that about her because she always taught us to do the right thing. Even if we had to stand by ourselves, you stand up for what you believe in, even if you stand alone sometimes. And that's one thing that I took from her, that you put faith first, family second, friends third. I was very honored when I asked her to be my confirmation sponsor. After kind of growing up, and was trying to find a job through college. She found me a state job. I didn't even at that time know how to turn on a computer, but it was for data entry operator. So not only did she find me that job, I got to share a cubicle with her, which is a lot of fun. So we did lots of fun pranks. She was not a prankster. If work started at 8 o'clock, she started 8:00, not 2 minutes after, not 5 minutes after, and she stopped at 5:00, 5 o'clock, not 4:50, not 4:59. It was 5:00. She was always prompt. After all that, I got married, and she was actually one of the bridesmaids at my wedding, which was kind of neat. My mom was my maid of honor, and Dart was pretty close behind her. After that, my husband and I settled down, and we had kids. And my first daughter, Kiera, Dart was her godmother. Very honored to have her at that. Dart actually came with me to all my kids' childbirth, actually. My second child, I had to have a C-section. And before I even held her, the nurse came in and said, "Does anybody want to hold the baby?" And Dart said, I do. So Dart held my middle child. And my husband said, "Dart, is there any way that Mandy could, hold her?" And Dart's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know anybody that thought that she got to hold her," it's kind of a joke right now in our family. But after the passing of her husband, my family worried about her. One of my middle child even emptied out her dresser, making room for Dart to come live with us. But it was Dart's strong faith that got her through such difficult times. Obviously we would remember things and break down, but she never gave up, and it was her faith that and instills in all of us. You have a mustard seed of faith. You have your family, and then you have your friends. So other things that we enjoy doing, we enjoy butchering, we enjoy family gatherings. Her and I share a huge love fishing. So I'm very blessed to have two moms, my biological mom and my Aunt Dart.
Hi, I'm Cora, and I'm the baby who Dart got to hold first before my mom. And one of my favorite memories of my Aunt Dart is when we were in Branson, and there was a zip line place that you could go and zip lining across the river. And I asked my Aunt Dart if she wanted to do it with me, and she said yes, which I was very shocked because normally she doesn't do anything like that. So when we were getting ready to go, I was making sure that people were buckling in us in to the roller coaster so we wouldn't fall off. And so when we got to the top of the roller coaster, I was holding her hand and I was screaming so loud, and she was kind of confused why I was screaming, but we had a time of our lives. When we got to the bottom, we were just so happy and so excited that we were there. So that is one of my favorite memories of my Aunt Dart.
Hi, I'm Karen. I'm the baby of the family. So these are my favorite things about my memories about Dart. So we were having dinner at Grandma's house, and everybody was there, and Dart was putting all the silverware out, and basically she missed a few people, and I just thought of this funny joke, and I said, "You had one job," and now that's a family joke of ours. So that's my favorite memory about Dart. Bye.
Okay, this is something about Dart, my sister. She and I were pretty close when we were little kids. We was only like 2 years apart. So we did a lot of things together. We wore each other's clothes, and I sort of looked after her even when she was before school. And when she went to the first grade, she was homesick, and she cried a lot. And some of the bigger kids would come to my room, which was just a room over, tell me my little sister was crying. Well, being only in the third grade, I didn't have any knowledge of what to do to help her. So I just went and sat in the corner with her and cried with her. And I don't know if that helped or not, but it seemed to pacify her. And then, I guess she was right after 8th grade, she went to O'Fallon, to the convent. And, we both missed each other. So I wrote letters 3 times a week, because she was so homesick. And then she did stay a whole year. But then we had when we started dating after we got in the later years, like in high school, our boyfriends were friends and they had went to school together. So needless to say, we did a lot of things together. We mostly went to a lot of dances on the weekends. And then we were both in each other's weddings, and we helped each other plan the wedding and so forth, as sister would do. And then after, well, I guess it was about 4 years, we had our children. We had 3. And Dart and Dick were unable to have children. So we sort of, I guess you might say, shared our kids. And Dart and Dick they were like another set of parents, so to speak. And my kids are really still close to her today, and we include her in all of our family gatherings. And when we were going to work, we rode together in the same carpool, and we did a lot of our shopping and get-togethers at noontime. We did things together then. And then after her husband died, Dart went into a depression, and I had to help her with all of her paperwork, and I went with her to all of her therapy sessions. And one of the doctors that she was going to said to get her involved in extra work. And so I involved her in all sorts of community activities, which seemed to be a healing process, which led us to do a lot of things today that we still do. And like now we walk daily, and then we help with each other with our yard work, and we cook things together, and we go with each other to Jeff City for doctor's appointments. To Jeff City for doctor's appointments yet today. And so needless to say, we started out being close, and we're still close to each other. And I think that's all I can say right now. I could say more, but this sort of gives you a gist of what my involvement with her is.